Hey guys, it's Luke here from LT Gaming and welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to respond to the poll that I put out and do a quick review on Arms Trade Tycoon tanks. This game is an innovative blend of tank design and tycoon gameplay. You will essentially take the reins of an arms trading company specialising in tanks spanning from World War I to the modern era. The game is brought to us by the relaunched version of Microprose software and comes to early access on Steam on the 6th of February. So right from the start you have to decide whether early access is for you. Now you know my take on it. I enjoy being part of the development of games. I've been burnt on a few myself, but I don't mind the process. There are some of you, and I've seen the comments, who really do not like it, so stay away and wait for the full release of the game if early access is not for you. I've been putting time into this game this week, and essentially you will dive into the world of tank research, design cutting-edge machines, strategically sell your creations, and witness their performance on the battlefield as you craft your unique mark on history with your own tank company. It's a very compelling premise for a game, and I have to admit when I picked it up I was very excited. But before we get critical, let's jump into what early access will actually look like, as I know there are a lot of people asking this question on the Steam forum. The initial offering of this game will allow you to employ over 60 World War I technologies to create unique tank designs and craft your own tank story. You can acquire German and French tank components via reverse engineering, which is a mechanic in the game, and create hybrid design that the world has never seen before. You're then able to test drive your creation on the proving grounds to get first-hand experience with your war machines, and I have to say, that aspect, although it felt a little gimmicky, did provide some immersion when designing tanks. You can also chase military contracts from over 20 countries and observe how your tanks change the map in major wars and battles. For me, the ability to observe my tank's battle performance against other tanks and all the opponents such as infantry and armoured trains was one of the best aspects of the game overall. They can deploy in a diverse range of environments including Europe, the Balkans, the Middle East and even Africa. So really, this game offers you the ability to take direct control of every aspect of your tank business empire, from resource procurement and logistics to HR management and factory expansion. It becomes obvious quite quickly that if you're into tanks or tycoon games, you're going to get something from this title. A quick intermission while I ask you to like the video, leave a comment and subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell for notifications so you're always up to date on the things that we deliver here at LT Gaming. Both me and Tom really appreciate it. Come and join the channel, we're growing really quickly and we appreciate all of your support. Okay, let's have a discussion about the UI, presentation and graphics. Overall, it's presented in a very simple manner. Your factory is quite plain and there are a set of menus at the top of the game that allow you to navigate through different functions of your empire. For those familiar with grand strategy games, it won't be too hard to get into this. All your resources are presented clearly to you at the top of the screen and you can control the time functions in the top right. It's clean and it's functional, but there's one major problem. Every time you click something, there's a loading screen. And it just takes you out of the game for a moment, and I found it a little frustrating when I needed to go to multiple different parts of my factory. It just slows the process down. On top of that, if you click the time forward button, it advances the game. But there's so many news items that flash up and pause the game, it can get a little frustrating when you're trying to move forward and deliver some of your contracts. However, there is a remedy to this. Go to the preferences and you can turn off the amount of news that come to you. I would definitely recommend ensuring that the contracts are still visible though, or you could miss something important. Despite my criticism on these two items, overall I really enjoyed every aspect of the menus, and the graphics when you go in to design your tank, rotating all of the different parts, I found it excellent. You also have the ability to jump into the proving grounds and test your new tank design. And while the graphics in this section are not AAA quality, nor would we expect them to be, they do a pretty good job overall of immersing you in the design and testing of your own tank. So I will say, despite my initial complaints, the presentation does a good job of taking you around all of the menus and aspects of your factory. I have also read on the Steam forum that the developer is looking to improve the loading times, and I think they really do need to focus on this. It should almost be a seamless transition if possible. So that's a great sign in early access, right? They are listening to feedback. However, the nuts and bolts of Arms Trade Tycoon tanks is of course the gameplay, and I have to say I've had a brilliant time designing my tanks, engineering all the different components, and then selling them to the highest bidder as I put them out on the battlefield and see how they perform. Essentially, in the beginning, you will service a number of different contracts from the British Empire. They will request maybe 20 tanks, you set the price, and you try and bid against your competitor. And that's only the start of your problems. You then have to design a tank that fits their specifications and produce it. Bring the resources in and then ship the finished tanks out to your customer. It's all about time management, and I really enjoyed all the different moving parts in my factory, and eventually I was shipping out some pretty big contracts and fulfilling exactly what the British wanted, and then watching my tanks stomp the enemy on the battlefield. It's a very fun and addictive tycoon game, and those people that like that sort of gameplay are going to get very addicted to this title. There is one caveat though. At the moment, we only have access to World War I technologies in the early access version. To really hold my interest, I'd love to develop tanks in World War II and even more so the Cold War and beyond. That really will make this a great game. So like many other early access titles, it's absolutely critical here that they deliver the roadmap so that this game can fulfill its full potential. If they can deliver us a tank tycoon sim which goes from World War I into the modern era, then I will truly be impressed. The innovation in this game is great. The ability to reverse engineer other nations' tanks and the parts of those tanks, and then modify every part of your particular machine is absolutely brilliant. The only part of the game that confused me in the beginning was the fact that I had to engineer every single part of my tank. And if I made a modification to, say, the tracks with new technology, I would have to engineer that piece before it could be applied to the final design. However, once you've done it once or twice, it is quite intuitive. And this element also allows for a massive scope in customization. It's everything a tank enthusiast could want. It's also worth noting that you can improve and upgrade many different aspects of your factory. The sound effects and music in the game did a solid job overall without being a particular highlight. It might be the sort of game that you want to put your own music on while chilling in your factory. So in conclusion, LT gamers, this is a very solid start to what could be an excellent tank tycoon game. However, to get to its full potential, it needs many updates and a strong development roadmap. If you're happy with the World War I era, then go out and pick it up today. But you may want to wait and see how they add all of the different designs and tanks from World War II and beyond. Overall, it has the foundations of an excellent tycoon game, and I put over 8 hours into this title during my review. If you're into these type of games, you really should check this one out. Right everyone, I've been Luke from LT Gaming. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.